All right, so I'm gonna just have to continue a part two because the screen recording crashed. Thankfully, it was able to save, so we're just gonna continue. If you're reading this from a faith-based angle, right? So the prophecy is, like it said up in the beginning, right? It says what? It said this verse is part of Isaiah 60, a prophetic chapter, so it has not come to pass yet. So let's see. It says it may be seen both in part and not yet in full, depending on how you view prophecy, literal, symbolic, or both. Would you like a comparison with modern events in Israel or Christian missions? No. So I put, you are wrong when you said Gentiles help rebuild the city and the temple, though. And then look what it said. It says, you're absolutely right to call to call that out. Let's clear it up carefully and accurately. It said, did Gentiles help rebuild the temple or city in Ezra, Nehemiah? Short answer, no. Gentiles, non-Israelites, were not allowed to rebuild the temple, and to a large degree, not the city walls either. Exactly. Ezra 4:13. During the temple reconstruction after the Babylonian exile, local non-Israelite people, possibly descendants of those settled in the land by the Assyrians, offered to help. And it says, okay, it's KJV, and it's going to read, now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity built the temple unto Yahweh God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God. Key point, Jewish leaders rejected their help, viewing them as unfit or as potential threats to purify and loyalty to Yahweh. Okay, they put Yahweh, but it's really Yahweh. So yes, so during that time, they were like, no, you heathens cannot, you don't have nothing to do with this. Leave us alone, basically. And, that was during that time. Who was that? Cyrus. Yeah, right? I think it said Cyrus when we read up, which that'll be the Persians, if I'm not mistaken. They were given funding to help rebuild their temple. Let me see. Did it say Cyrus? Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. The Persians. So that'd be Elam. Yeah, it'd be Elam. Cause you had who was it? Darius and Daniel. I believe it was Darius who took down Nebuchadnezzar, and Babylon was taken over by the Persian Medes, which would be, the Persian Medes was a combined nation of Elam and Japheth, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta go back into this history. Man, there's so much history in this. All right, so let's go back. Wait, so then I checked ChatGPT, so it said that I was right, basically. Let's see. Okay, so it says you are right. Okay. Wait, where did we leave off at? Okay, right here. It says, regarding the wall, book of Nehemiah. In Nehemiah, when the city walls were being rebuilt, Gentiles and local enemies like Sanballat and Horonite, Tobiah, an Ammonite, and Geshem, an Arab, opposed the work. These were not helpers, but rather opponents, mocking and threatening the work. Right. They were I forget how it's worded. I believe it said that they basically gave them a hard time, and I believe that when they were building, the scripture says that they had their sword in one hand. So basically they were ready to fight. It says, so again, no Gentiles' assistance in rebuilding either the temple or Jerusalem walls after the exile. Right. Okay, so let's see. So what does Isaiah 60:10 refer to then? If Isaiah 60:10 says the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, but Ezra/Nehemiah shows the opposite, then we're forced to conclude it was not fulfilled in the post-exilic period. I can't even say that. Exilic period. So this pushes interpreters to one or two options: spiritual future fulfillment. Many Christians believe Isaiah 60 speaks prophetically beyond the imminent return from exile, which we're exiled right now. We're not in our land. All right, let me look up the word exiled. The state of being barred from one's native country, typically for political or punitive reasons. Right, so we're going to go back to our land again, Isaiah 14. And I will set them in their land, right? So it says strangers building the walls is seen as Gentiles becoming co-laborers in the church. The New Jerusalem, Revelations 21:22, being served by the nations and their leaders, or in a millennial kingdom where the literal city of God is honored and supported by the nations, right? So that's exactly what's going to happen. There ain't going to be no damn co-laborers. All right. If you mean co-laborers of the Gentiles working alongside with the Israelites, that's wrong. The Gentiles are going to be co-laborers amongst themselves, the nations. They're going to be co-laborers. All right. So it says, still waiting for the literal fulfillment. Some believe this verse will be literally fulfilled in the future restoration of Jerusalem, where foreign nations and rulers will aid in its rebuilding and glory. This is common in Zionist or dispensationalists' interpretation, which that's correct. We're still waiting for this literal fulfillment physically to happen. Summary. Correction. You're right. Gentiles did not help rebuild the temple or city in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. In fact, they were mostly opponents of the work. Therefore, Isaiah 60:10 was not fulfilled at that time and should be seen as either spiritual prophecy fulfilled in the global church or yet future prophecy awaiting literal fulfillment, which that's the answer right there. Yet future prophecy awaiting literal fulfillment. Would you like to dig deeper into how early Christians or Jewish interpreters read this verse? No, I don't care about how they interpret this verse. I'm gonna say, how do you interpret this verse? Interpret this verse. Has it happened? Or not? I don't want it to say spiritual or some shit. I just want to say like physically. Has it physically happened or not? How do you interpret this word? Has it? I'm gonna put physically. Has it physically happened or not? Put yet or not. Don't give me no bullshit. Has it physically happened yet? Okay, it's gonna reread it. This has not been physically fulfilled yet in history. Why? Let's break it down point by point with historical and biblical context. Damn, so see, look at ChatGPT going in. So you know what? Oh, damn, I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this. Well, you know, we can I'm gonna screenshot it, but it literally tells ChatGPT says, no, this has not been physically fulfilled yet in history. So there goes your answer. So let me screenshot these, and because sometimes it'll lose on my end what it was going into, and you know, we'll get into a part 2. Yeah, because I'm gonna read this. But look, it says final answer. No, Isaiah 60:10 has not physically happened yet. It remains a future prophecy awaiting fulfillment in the Messianic age or New Jerusalem, when foreign nations will literally or visibly support and serve God's restored Zion. Yahweh Ratazah, this was edifying. Till next time, Shalom.